Well, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Blue Abroad Show. Monday, the 12th of May, 2025. We are here after a great, I don't know about great. It was a good win, a good, solid performance Friday night against the Saints. Pommy, you have joined me. The curse is broken.
It feels like forever. I can't remember the last win I did. Did I do a final? I feel like I did the Melbourne final.
Maybe.
That might be the last win. I think that's the last win.
Surely. Nah.
Because you always text me like an hour before you go live and go, I need you for me. Like, people wonder why I'm miserable. It's because that's when you all want me, when we lose.
You're like who's our break glass in case of emergency player? You know, when the people you really, you're like Jack Silvani when people really need help. You're the one.
No. Just tell you what, no wonder Jack looks miserable all the fucking time. Then, like, I feel him. Maybe the weight of expectation is too much, but nah, I'm happy to be here. It's always nice to talk about a win. I'd much rather critique us for perfection when there's 4 points in the bank, as opposed to last week where I'm trying to be happy.
Pommy was on the Monday show from round 7 to 13 in 2023. I've never seen a man so broken before during that period. Yeah,
and all the other content creators on Blue Abroad, how easy they get it, eh? Do you know what I mean? Any idiot can do this show on a win. I am that any idiot this week. It's so easy, I tell you. So easy.
It is very easy. Hey, Albert, what's the tea? I've got a lemon and ginger job in front of me at the moment. Pom, you got a Yorkshire tea in front of you?
No, I've got water, mate.
Oh, nice. Very good.
It's because I've had a late tea. I just literally ate. So,
love it. Speaking of, Aiden, good to see you in good spirits, mate. And good evening to, I can see quite a few of you here. Wayne, who I saw today at training.
Wayne.
Kate, Dione, Says, Kylie, Erin, Chills, Ethan Paradisis. Albert is here. Maz is here. Hey, something really interesting happened at training today. I didn't realize this until I uploaded the training report today. So take a look at the background. This is the introduction. This is the introduction to the training report. I swear I did not know this was happening. I didn't notice it until I uploaded the video. So,
with some highlights here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel, we're sitting here Monday after round 9, after a pretty solid win against the Saints, and there was an open session, a viewing session here today at Icon Park, which is just fantastic. This was the second batch of open sessions that we were given from the club, and beautiful day out here at Icon Park, beautiful day here at Carlton, and lots to get through. I'm sure there'll be lots of questions around certain players, who was there, who wasn't there. So in this video, I'm going to go through exactly what I saw. I did miss a little bit of training at the start, so there might have been some players that I did miss out on, but from what...
It's the full kid piss for me. You know, like if you have a kid, there's nothing like it. I don't know when they grow out of it. The eldest has started to grow out of it now, so he's 10. But, you know, the full pants around the ankles.
Hey, listen, when you commit to taking a pee, it's just making sure that, you know, clothes don't get wet and there's no droplets on any clothes. So
honestly, it's one of the more bizarre things because I never taught my kids that. And it's something that I noticed, like, where does the full kid piss suddenly stop? Like when you realize you can just hang him out of your clothes, but that was quality. Elite. I like the way he walks with purpose as well.
Yeah. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was confident.
I rate it, man. I rate it.
Am I under an obligation to delete that?
I don't know. I mean, like everyone treats their kids differently. I would be fully like screen recording that for their 18th right now. Like,
I'm a bit conflicted. I don't know what to do. Like, is it a go just like chop it out? Like, is it against?
I think
God?
what's hilarious is the fact it skipped your editing. And the first time you found it was when everyone else found it. That makes it even better for me. Like, what a brilliant change of events.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's what he thought of the training report. Piss.
There's a lot of memes you can make from that as well. Like you can. My creative juices got flowing with that because I was like, you could do so much with that, couldn't you?
Oh, Chad Warner this week.
Like, if Chad Warner has a game like he did last year, you can just put Chad Warner on him. The tree says Carlton's final hopes. Like, you can do loads.
Yeah. So anyway, we will. Yeah, Bugs Bell.
Can't escape it, can we, Bugs Bell? Just when you think the embarrassment can't continue, you get dragged back in.
Yeah. So Friday night, round 9 against the Saints. Chat, and those of you watching, please write a 1-sentence summary of your experience on Friday night as Pommy and I go through the sequence of events that was Friday. We've just done the rating show, so we have more context now. Having done the ratings now and having unpacked and having done your review, what, Pommy, do you make of Friday night now?
Here you are. Look, here's a sentence for you. I would say Saints controlled the territory. Carlton controlled the consequences. Put that on my epitaph. Thanks very much.
Saints controlled the territory. Carlton controlled the consequences.
Yeah, and I think that was probably the way I'd best describe the game. You know what I mean? Carlton came out of the blocks. What was it? First half. Got the stats here. Plus 20 contested possessions. Plus 13 possessions from stoppage. Plus 5 clearances. 37 points from midfield chains. I think the Blues did everything they needed to in the first half. And I love Voss's presser this week. I thought it gave us a little bit of insight. They did what they did well. They slowed it down, tried to make it a shitstorm. And that's exactly what you want when you've got two blokes on the pine. I'm pretty sure Voss sat in that box going, I can't believe they're doing this. And so many stats from this game. Like, I wish I was a Saints fan and doing the show with Jake, because there's so much I'd lambast, but like 18 disposals per shot versus 14 for us. We just used it. We tried to get it there, and the other side was pissing about with it. And fair play to the Blues. They're the types of games that you do lose. And this was a similar game to Fremantle. You saw the difference between our midfield and Frio's. Frio's had nowhere to go. We worked it out. Yeah.
A lot was made, has been made, and will continue to be made about the Carlton game style and what's our brand and who are we and does it stack up to the modern game? And those conversations, like I said, they have been happening and they will continue to happen. But Friday had a bit of, we've kind of touched on it on the game day stream. We were referring to Collingwood on the Thursday night, who had to find a different way to win because of how many outs that they had. And I thought the Blues went in with a completely different structure and game plan to what a lot of us expected. Hence the we are too tall, Voss has lost this at selection table feeling. And then, so that was different. And then mid-game, there had to be adjustments made because there were injuries and subs. And in that was the beauty of footy and the beauty of what happened on Friday. I know it wasn't, I don't know, like I get it, it wasn't pretty, but you had to find a way to win. And that's what sport does every now and again. It doesn't always go to script. So I think that was my most pleasing part of Friday night, that it didn't go to plan. And if anything, yeah, there might have been an excuse if Ross actually utilized the injuries that we had to his advantage. But yeah, I like the fact that we were able to find a way to play differently.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It is a tough ask. And got to ask a lot of questions about Ross. It felt busy. You know what? I said it in my review. It felt like Ross has done this to us so many times that there was a level of arrogance
Yes, but that filtered
That
through
he
their fan
expected us
base.
to implode.
Yes, man, that filtered through their entire club last week, I felt.
Like I said it in the live, I was waiting for them to come at us because I'd be like, okay, cool. You've kept the score reasonable, but we can't keep rotating players. Eventually, the damn wall will break. We can do this all day. We can. It felt like watching Clive Woodward in 1999 when England won the World Cup in rugby against you guys. You guys played sexy foot rugby. We played archaic stoppage, repeat ruck, maul. It was horrible to watch us. But it felt like at any point they will get the ball on the outside and take it to us. But amazing. I did really feel like, and I said it in the live, it did feel like Ross was like, it's okay. We know what Carlton are about. They'll fuck this up for us. And they never did. And bizarre. Like, honestly, I'll pick on Jake tomorrow, but that would be my big thing with Jake. If I was Jake, asking the question, why didn't you try and take Carlton out?
Yeah. When I watched the replay and then I saw that Ross had done a pre-game presser, I watched his post-game presser. He made reference to a specific statistic about Carlton, almost like what you said, like he had the answers. And he mentioned, oh, well, Carlton, as long as the differential isn't plus 12, as soon as it's plus 12, they're generally going to win the game. And he was so specific with it pre-game and he was so specific with it post-game. And yeah, there was. Reflecting now on the week, speaking of Jake, it's Jake's fault. Personally, it was just a St Kilda feeling. They were playing good footy coming in. They belted Freo the week before and restricted them to 30-odd points. And, you know, they were telling us that they were our bogey team and they'd won 7 of the last 10. Palmer had to sit there at the beautiful MCG and have Jake look me in the eye and tell me about Cooper Sharman and Lance Collard and Darcy Wilson. And I just bit my tongue and just stayed humble.
Yeah, and like there was things going against Carlton. Like they were plus 10 in stoppage from us. So they'd done the work around stoppage. Stoppage, particularly for Saints, was a big area. They know that's where Carlton gained some ascendancy. They did incredibly well from that, you've got to say. And that's usually an area for Carlton that we struggle with. We do struggle with if you take away our stoppage and our clearance. You do take it away. But then Carlton, this was something I complained about last week. Carlton's first possession from stoppage and clearance was the same as Crows last week. This week, we got more and we controlled the narrative from there, where last week they got battered. And all signs lead to a positive. I thought our turnover game, I saw Wowdy mention turnover game. Like that's something we struggled with all year, really. We're wedged just slightly above St Kilda this year, incidentally, we're way down on the rankings. We're 13th. But over the last couple of weeks, that's risen into the top 5 of the league. So we've done, you can see the shift is starting to slowly turn. But scoring is king now. Defence is secondary. Kicking goals is it. And I thought the Blues did well. Scoring shots were good this week, generating some.
Yeah. So, J-Baggers, I said this in the rating show, and I guess I'm probably bringing this up very early in this show, but he texted me and he said, the sauce that you saw tonight is the sauce that I watched 15 years ago. So I wanted to ask the question for those who watched Steve play, because I don't know the specific timeline. I don't recall Steve's career, but there was a timeline. He played a bit forward, he found his feet, and then eventually he found himself as a defender, and then it sort of clicked. Do we all feel like this is the clicking of Jack Silvani, or is it just a good 2 months?
I think so far, so good. So far, so good. Particularly, I mean, I wish we'd seen him against Adelaide.
Yeah.
I really do, because I think they're the tough games. They're the tough games. They're the ones that I do genuinely worry about, to be honest. The teams that can score in multiple avenues. With all due respect to the Saints, I think they are gettable. And I think the difference between us and Fremantle we didn't get overawed by that. We didn't, and we had scoreboard pressure. I think that game would have been totally different if they had a 20-point lead. They could have held it. The problem is that we got a jump on them, which was very impressive. And Jesus thought the minute him and Wheater in, they're going really well, and long may it continue. I don't doubt Jesus anymore. I doubted him at the start of the year down back. Shouldn't have done. I've apologised for that since. He's a rock, man. He's a rock. And I think you could probably play him fucking pocket forward and he'd be Eddie Betts.
And he'd find a way. Yeah.
Maybe that's the answer. Play him as a small forward.
I put a hand up. I put a call out for a hand up situation. If was it last week or the week before for Nick Haynes? And I thought about it this week because we had the team show on Thursday and Lewis Young was named. And I thought, well, he's named in the team, which I thought was strange because he's only played this year when Harry hasn't played and or when Jack Silvani hasn't played. So I want to put a call out for those of us who doubted the team selection and thought we went in too tall. Just a hand up. Vossy, you got it right. Does anybody else want to put their hand up? Just put an emoji in the chat.
I think it was probably a valid concern. And I think probably it worked out well in the end with all the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I don't think anyone... I see Gus is in chat as well. Good St Kilda, man. Be nice to him, chat. He's a real good, humble human being. I love chatting footy with Gus. But I really didn't expect Saints to play this way. Like, it was funny. I do the previews and I deep dive how sides can beat them. I am actually flabbergasted that they didn't take the game on.
Yeah.
And it would have been interesting had they played to their best resources. How that would have looked, but you don't really have to worry about it now. We got the 4 points.
No,
in the
that's
bag.
it. Well, I think when it's raining, clearly there is the argument about being too tall, but seeing how we dominated the aerial battle, and then when we did the rating show just now, just watching the heat maps of Harry and Charlie, I don't know if we can rely on it for the rest of the season moving forward, but it's good to know that it can work with Lewis there, because you mentioned you don't have to sacrifice one of Harry or Charlie.
No, I agree. And I think maybe he stumbled across... I'd love to think he watched Adelaide and was like, Jesus, our zone can't handle this. And no effect. Like, I think Tex is incredibly good footballer. Riley Thilthorpe is an incredibly good footballer, and so is Foggy. But I would say pound for pound, Kerno and McKay can look Tex and Riley Thilthorpe in the eye. Do you know what I mean? And so maybe Voss saw it. Like, I'd love to think Voss has seen that and gone, right, where are we down on the other teams? Because our forward half scores are pretty good. Our defensive half scores are poor. Our turnover scores are poor. And it's our taking our opportunities inside 50. We're like ranked second last now for getting the ball inside 50 and creating a score. Has he looked and gone, maybe Louis, someone at full forward and let Harry and Charlie get up the ground? Gives us that opportunity to fix it, because that is definitely something that's holding us back. And this week, that was probably the biggest positive sign for me. Carlton's ability to actually score something when the ball goes inside 50, and that needs addressing. And by accident, he's found it.
Yeah.
This
and
week,
look,
do it.
That's and I do want to quantify, like, it is one game, but I still think Lewis is a player who has copped a lot of heat. I mean, his performances have been poor in the past, and they started stacking up, and there was big question marks around him, particularly last year. But I mean, this year in particular, I think the way he's applied himself, I just think he deserves a bit of kudos, because this was the first game I thought he played and was selected without needing to, cover for a missing Harry or a missing Jack Silvani, and he had the spot in the side on its merit, and he's copped a bit. So I feel like it's very important to be consistent the other way when it goes right. And I think Wildy mentioned it here. He won't do what he did on Friday every week, but we have a viable depth and swing player, which is important because a squad gets you to the top. not just a 23.
I feel like when you watch Lewis Young play, I see the inverse of Liam Jones. So I remember Liam Jones as a forward, right? Bro could mark, but the bro's leading patterns and running and read of where to be were up there with a blind Yorkshire Terrier. Okay. So then when you think move him down back where he's only got to stand in one place and attack the ball as it comes to him, he's marks, it makes sense. Then you look at Lewis, what's his issue? When the ball comes down back, the guy is allergic to marking it. When he does mark it, he's scared to kick it. But genuinely, when he has played down the back, he's been all right in the terms of his positioning. It's his application, and you can't really make a mistake down the back. We know, don't you? Once you make a mistake down the back, GG's, good night. They kind of help you in the forward line, don't you? Because there was a few times he brought the ball to ground, which then plays the smalls in. And my big issue with Harry and Charlie, I would say most small forwards would hate to play with them because them two refuse to not mark the ball. I think that's the big difference between Charlie and Jesse Hogan. Jesse Hogan likes to bring his smalls in. I think Charlie's all about mark this baby. So is Harry. I think that's probably the thing where Lewis does tap it down because sometimes he knows he can't mark it. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting long term. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Can you do that long term? Like, you're going to have to find out, aren't you? There's only one way to find out.
Well, I just want to show the coaches' votes from the game because I thought, and this sparked an interesting conversation as well. Haynes got the 7, Hewitt got the 6, Wanganeen Miller a 5, Harry 5, Sinclair 4, Cripps 2, Jack Silvani 1. So there's been a bit of a debate online around how the votes were split and who voted for who. Is the coaches' award flawed? Are the coaches' votes flawed? Because I think they've previously been seen as king, but we saw last year with Craig McKay giving Nick Dacos votes to make sure he was up there in the coaches' award. How much stock do you put in these coaches' votes?
Human beings are flawed, Terry. Could I, I'm the worst person to talk to because I could live good. I mean, you'd effectively say that the best 2 players on the ground in Ross the Boss's eyes were St Kilda players based on them votes, right? Yeah. Wouldn't you? Do I give a shit? A coach backs his players in over the opposition coach? Not really. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, I would say when you look at the MVP, you look at the coaches' votes, we would probably not argue who the best player is. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got to account that if Cripps has a good game, he's 5 votes from Voss. If the opposition's player's better than him in reality, he's still going to get 5 votes from the opposition and probably 4 or 3 from Voss. So when you flip the narrative, it will work out differently. But, I mean, do I begrudge a coach backing your own man in? Absolutely not.
Fair.
I would love to know if the shoe was on the other foot. Because if from memory, Nick Dacos was quite a bit ahead of Cripps and Cripps was gaining ground. If the narrative was flipped, would I blame Voss for giving Cripps 5, Nick Dacos 1 vote? Absolutely not.
Fair.
Because I'd do it. I'll put my hand up. I'd do it. I'd rather my team win it than someone else.
Yeah. It's good for the team. What were the other important storylines, if any, from round 9 that you think are relevant moving forward? Because you don't want to draw too many conclusions from one game and get too over the top in a win or a loss. But was there anything that happened in round 9 that you think, okay, this is actually going to be important moving forward?
Look, I'm here to win flags. Let's not make any mistake about it. Look, everyone else can get excited about being in the top 8. I couldn't give any less of a shit. I want to win the thing. So I think the things that do stand out for me are 2 differences between the sides. Their ability to score at will at times when they got freedom off halfback and create change. That's something that definitely we don't have yet. And that's something that I'm really looking for at high level when we're playing teams that move the ball incredibly quickly, it's all about scoreboard pressure. And that this game, not many people will say, I think the biggest factor was scoreboard pressure. Our ability that we had the lead. So when we had injuries and we had to slow the game down, we already had a lead. And then the way Ross played, it allowed us to lead, right? I think for me, can we do that consistently? Because the scoreboard stats are disgusting from Carlton. Do you know what I mean? They are horrible. We don't get the ball in there in enough and good enough. Then I'll look at our scores from defensive half and scores from turnover. Deplorable recently on the whole, because you've got to take the whole season as well into account. From the whole season, are they good enough? And we are missing that sexy move off halfback. We feel like there's so much more we can give. When Haynes is doing what he's doing, Wheaterin's doing what he's doing, when Jesus is locking every man and his dog down, feel like we just need them little things. And that's the big question for me. We're going to come up against an incredibly quick midfield this week. That is the first part of call. I do think our big issue, and we saw it 3 times this week, people getting lost at stoppage. That is our bugbear. It killed us against Adelaide. It killed us in patches against Saints. Can we improve that? Because ultimately, to win a flag, you've got to do it all the time. You can't just do it St Kilda round 9 Spuds game. The flag winner will be able to say, well, I did it, Pom, round 1, 1, 2, round 3, round 4. Didn't do it 6 or 7, but then I got it back 8, 9, 10, 11. That's it. So it's now really finding the consistency. That's a big tale for me, that it's getting better, but there's still some way to go for us.
Yeah. I am mindful of getting too excited, and I'm not, because I know what's around the corner. We spoke about it previously today. LS with the $10 dono says, we need to get around Harry McKay more as a supporter base. He's the ultimate confidence player and can win games off his own boot when he's flying. Still far too many crowd groans when he shanks a goal. Yeah, that's an interesting one. So, yeah.
Can I just say, I did see some Carlton, a prominent Carlton social, defame St Kilda and tried to lessen their cause. And I do want to touch on that. If you go back and watch Harry McKay, are they booing Harry McKay because of his mental health? Or are they booing Harry McKay because it's at the end of the game, it's a potential game-winning chance, decision went against them, and then they've vilified one human being, which if you actually watch the edit that people have posted, watch it 5 seconds after, he high-fives his mate and laughs, the Saints fan. So you can see he's not upset. I had a message from the Saints cheer squad about this said post, and the message I got was at the end of the game was, isn't it fitting Harry kicked that on Spud's Day, GG's, and then he read that message where it was St Kilda were booing him. To me, that left a sad taste in my mouth, because I don't think anyone is as harsh to Harry than Carlton fans, and the stuff that Harry gets. Do you know what I mean? Go back and read the post when Carlton said mental health. All the idiots who spouted his missus had left him and he's soft. Who does that over a go? Booing because a decision has happened. But I'm telling you now, no one gets a free hall pass in a game of football. Do you know what I mean? Because you've had mental health issues or because something's happening in your life. That happens all the time and will continue to happen all the time. I thought it was absolutely disgusting to read, to take the edge off a day. And the people who wrote that post are the reason mental health is so bad in this country, because we're quick to ignore mental health, but we only bring up mental health when we want to win a moral battle. And what are you telling me now? Mental health, we're just not allowed to enjoy ourselves at the football? Or do we talk about the real story? When Harry kicked that goal, every single one of our fucking team got around him. When Harry kicked that goal, I've never heard the G make so much noise. Everyone was pleased for Harry. And look at the smile on his face at the end. That's a man that has place. And that's a lesson for everyone with mental health. When you have mental health issues, guess what? brutal hard fact from Pom. 8 billion people on the planet. No one gives a shit. The ones that count are the 12, 15, 20 people that are in your ecosystem that are going to build you up and are going to be your network. And that is what mental health is about. Get a better network. And once that network is there, the external doesn't matter anymore. And that's what Harry thankfully has. He's got 23 pals on the battleground with him. And he's got 80,000 people willing him to kick that goal. That's the real story. And that's what Spud's message is about.
Well said. I like that point. Don't weaponize mental health to say that the Saints were building Harry. They were building him because they wanted to potentially get him off and make him miss the shot on goal. So anyway.
I got into a debate with this the other day. I said, look, I boo people on my stream. I say stuff. Do you think I've got time in the heat of battle to fucking Ancestry.com, the player I'm talking about, going, oh my God, 6 weeks ago his cat died. Better not say it. Like, I was like, I'm booing the moment, not the human. So, and I've heard Carlton fans, we boo everyone. Do you know what I mean? So, like, let's be honest. I felt it was bad because, to me, the Black Dog Institute, full credit to St Kilda. I want to tip my hat to them. Out of all the awareness in AFL, take all the things you've got in the AFL. You've got the Doug Nicholls round. You've got Carlton Respects. You've got Pride. All that. The one that is the single most important is mental health, because mental health is also the tree that feeds all of them. People are unhappy with themselves. They do bad stuff sometimes. We saw that with Willie Rioli. He's got things going on. Sometimes it manifests not in depression, it manifests in hate. So domestic abuse, racism, they are all linked to mental health, because sometimes that's how people deal with stuff. So for me, full credit to Saints. I'm glad that that's got some awareness, and I wish the AFL would take it a bit more serious and stop using it as excuses or weaponizing, and using it as together we can make everything better. Yeah,
no, I echo that. Got to give it up for the Saints the way they did Spud's game. The whole thing.
Give it up for the team, bro. Like, Harry, mate. If you, like I said it in my review, if you were a Disney director and you were writing a movie about mental health, that's the fucking story in it. On the day where we recognize Spud, a great, lovable character who tragically lost his life, an event's aware of raising, wouldn't it be fitting it's the guy that's gone to hell and back to kick a goal on that day? Openly had the fight of mental health. I was like, fucking brilliant, isn't it? It's like a movie.
Mate, it was written in the stars. It was
like Tom Cruise, wasn't it? Like, that's the kind of shit Tom Cruise does in his movies. He's down, he's out. You think this is it. He's never going to come back, and then he does it when it matters, and everyone gets
and it's a drop punt. And it was a drop punt. There was a determination about him doing it. Yeah.
And you know what made me smile was just seeing everyone get around him. Everyone rubbed his head. You could see the whole team wanted that to go through. And I thought, in 7 days, we've had the best show for men about mental health. You saw Jack Crisp when he missed. Yeah. McKay said something which he said, we proved to the world we're the real winners today. And people have taken the piss out of it. But I was like, that's brotherhood. Jack Crisp was fucked up, but no one cared about the team. They cared about the human. They cared about Jack Crisp first. They rubbed his head. They said, you took the shot on. And then look what happened. When Harry missed, I guarantee whether he kicked that goal or he missed, them players would have treated him the same. They would have got around him and said, I love you, cuz. And he did it. How good is it?
It's a good way. It's a good way to, I guess, close the chapter of round 9, because it's time to move on. It's time to move on. Round 10 is coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. So.
Oh, Isaac Heaney, that fucker gives me nightmares.
Yeah. Well, Nick Haynes makes his debut on the thumbnail.
Hey!
So round 10, Sydney. We're going to touch on the VFL shortly and options there. But when you hear Sydney this week, Friday night, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
That little bald-headed twat, Chad Warner, gives me nightmares. I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and scream Chad Warner. From a football perspective, and I don't like using this word, must win.
Right.
Must win. Because I feel like this is a game at the start of the year you would have penciled in and maybe as a question mark, or maybe you would have red L'd it. Loss.
Yes. Yeah. And I do want to touch on that.
And I'd imagine you all green ticked Richmond, because I know I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like to be where you need to be, you've got to get one of them L's or them question marks. This is that big question mark in it, the big L.
I got a message this morning from a friend of mine, friend of the channel. I think he might be in the chat. And he was talking about, he was anticipating previewing the game this week, and he was reminiscing on last year, and our losses came to GWS, Bulldogs. Our losses to the GWS Giants and the Bulldogs, they both had sort of bad performances leading into the games against us. This year, Adelaide lost to Fremantle coming up against us. We got Sydney. They're clearly struggling. Previous iterations would see us sort of play them into form. That would be the rhetoric. This is that opportunity where I get it. You know, Sydney SCG, they've done a number on us over there for many, many years. It almost feels like an opportunity to buck the trend. I mean, I remember this time last year, Sydney were the benchmark of the comp for the first half of the season. We were close to them, but that loss to them at the SCG last year, that's when things started getting tinkered with. That's when George Hewitt started getting dropped. That's when a lot changed. So
how did it happen? Yeah, I think it was Lee Montagna this time last year as well, said whoever wins it wins the flag.
Yeah.
Like, well, it was the preview at the granny, and fascinating, isn't it, Terry? It's fascinating how 12 months changes both of us the wrong end of the table. Both of us clamoring on.
Yeah, well, it is. And I still remember the fan cams that night. I still remember the talking about, you know, our midfield, too slow, one pace, the need for speed. It's just fascinating where we are a year later. It was actually round 10 last year as well. It's literally a total year to the day. So is the same fear factor there? Do you look at this game similar to the one against the Crows, who had I don't know if you call it a similar form line at home, but do you have that same inkling about this game, or do you think we have more of a chance to beat the Swans as what we did the Crows?
I always say this: history is just a really good story of what is possible, but history also tells you what can change. Do you know what I mean? It also works as a lesson. I think I watched the Essendon game because I was with the lovely Fiona from Bombers Banter last week, and I told her this was my POM lock, Essendon to beat Sydney, and she said I was mental. And not laughing now, are we, Fiona? Eh? But I watched it really carefully, and like, Sydney is still dangerous, man. They're still dangerous. Like, around stoppage, they won that. As you expect, defensive half, they won that. The one place you can get Sydney, and it's where they've struggled, right? Because they're still an incredible turnover side. Like, as bad as they are as a turnover side at this moment in time, they're still better than Carlton. They're still, on average, a goal per game better than Carlton. They're a staggering 10 points better than us from defensive half. That's where they've got their weapons. So it's all on Voss's forward half. It's all on Voss's forward half. Can you stop that slingshot? And that is probably the area that I think is really exciting for the Blues. Really exciting for the Blues. That is where all you've put your resources into. Is literally, if you do it, they're fucked. Hey, tell you what, Adrian, this is like the time that I was at university and I was like 4 doobies deep. And one of my mates said to me, why do you get it in a car and on a bus? And I've never been the same. A part of me died in that. Now you've just done it. I'm glad I don't fucking do drugs anymore, because I would be tripped His story.
That's very good, Adrian. That's very
Fuck off,
good.
Adrian. Get out of my head.
Yeah. No, because there was a conversation in the Blue Broad group today, and it was like, oh, if we lose this week, it's likely to be season over. I'm like, no, like it would be disappointing if we lost this week, and it would be disappointing. But why do we go to such extremities when we talk about upcoming games? Like, why is this one the make or break? You win this one, you're still not back, but if you lose this one, it's season over. Why do you think that is even a thought that's entertained?
It's over.
Yeah, but like, I don't get it.
Look. I mean, people deal with stuff as they always deal with it, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
True.
Unfortunately, that's it. But look, you know me, Terry. I don't believe in that kind of shit, mate. I'm the worst person to ask, man. Like, you've got a job to do. Go and do your job. No excuses. I'm not an excuse human being. So, like for me, look, Sydney, they're a serious football team. At the minute, their fight is questionable. But if I was a Sydney player, a Sydney fan, we always beat Carlton at the SCG. Where we've got better players. That's what I would be thinking, because that's what you're meant to think as a fan. As a Blue, it's as simple as stop that ball movement, but also you got to fucking execute that, because it's not too dissimilar to the Adelaide game. Their forward line isn't as good as Adelaide's, but the application from getting it back to the middle is the same.
Yeah.
So for the Blues, we've had a test once and we failed miserably. So now you've got to do it, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got to come and do it.
Yeah.
But I'll say what I said about the Saints, and I was respectful to Jake. He took it as a pop shot. If you're telling me right now it's a 50-50 game against the Saints, the way Sydney are playing, this isn't a 50-50 game. If we're legit, I will say this. Same, all the arrogance Jake called it. But we shouldn't be looking at Sydney and going, this is a tough game. They're vulnerable. We're bigger. We're stronger. We're smarter. We destroy them. But football, unfortunately, doesn't work like that.
No. What we saw in this round, were you covering the Brisbane North Melbourne game?
No, I wasn't. No, I was watching it with great intrigue, though.
You know when you're watching a game, but you're not watching it, like you're really not interested, but it's sort of on the background, and then it grabs you. I couldn't believe what I was watching with my eyes. And I mean, it just speaks more so to the fact that you can't just go into every week expecting to win like this. The only thing you can expect is the unexpected.
Yeah, when I watched that game, it had a lot of arrogance from Brisbane. I felt like Brisbane went in at halftime and were like, right, okay, we've a couple of goals ahead.
Yeah.
They're fucked. But one thing I will give Brisbane credit for, that was the worst they've played all year, in my opinion. They were absolutely barbaric in the second half. They still found a way to draw it. And North still found another way to not win a game. Which is fascinating. And that just shows you what the levels of this game. When you're off, you've got to find a way. So for the Blues this week, it's got to be that kind of mindset that it might not go our way. We might not get scoreboard pressure.
Yeah.
But we've got to stay in this game, because Sydney aren't the Sydney of last year, and they're not the flags winners. They're not the flag winners they were a few years ago under Voss. They are gettable. We've got to give them more doubt than us.
Let's talk about early team selection. So I was at training today. Updates on the following if you didn't watch the training report today. So McGovern was out there training. It was a light session, skills-based, but he was out there and he wasn't doing laps to the sides. He could still play. Fogarty was doing laps. Williams was definitely doing sprints and laps and I think he might be able to make a case for this week, but we'll see. Fantasia not available. Chincotta is ready to play. likely in the VFL, I would say, this week. What changes do you think of? Because you know that Cowan's likely to come out. We know that Matt Carroll didn't play in the VFL last week. So what changes are you thinking early days for the game?
In an ideal world, I'd like to see not many changes, to be honest. I'd like to see Carroll in for Cowan. That's it.
If possible, yeah.
I don't want to see wholesale changes. I feel like, always say it, when you win, enjoy yourself.
Billy Wilson. I don't think I saw Billy this morning. Now that I think of it. Yeah.
I mean, to answer the latter part, I watched the VFL game and you can't make a convincing case for anyone to come in.
Based on the VFL performances.
I don't think anyone in that game, even though they won, screamed, I'm better than the guys playing the same positions above me. Like, Doc just did Doc things as you would expect to, but he ain't ever having the ball 30 times in the back half.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not how we play anymore. So, like, I watched that game with close intent. Billy Wilson, his second good game of the year. But it's always when Doc's there. Like, Camporelli, we're meant to be developing these guys, let him develop. And Jordan Boyd seems out of favour at the minute.
Yeah, what do you make of that? Yeah, what do you make of that situation?
Well, I understand it. Nick Haynes and McGovern are the primary ball users out the back half. So you can't have too many. And at the minute, I'd say the only option is you take Sard out of the team and you put Boyd there and become more of a kicking side. But I'd say structurally, I'd say Boyd potentially is worse than Sard defending.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I think Sard is a lot better defender. I don't think Sard is very brilliant at defending. So I think we've moved on. I think Voss, you can't have too many of the same types of players.
That's fair. That's fair. You did touch on Sydney having the tools to hurt Carlton in their midfield with their pace. So how do we nullify Sydney's strength at stoppage?
Well, I mean, look, Chad Warner, for me, is one of them players that really does struggle when the game goes away from him. That's the big thing. If I was a Sydney fan, he's very flash in the pan. Very flash in the pan. When the game's going well, he's good, but can he knuckle down? It's a bit like Adelaide, though. You've got to be good. You've got to execute because they will pick ways around you. And they saw it against Essendon. Essendon played incredibly well. They do have an uncanny ability. And you watch Essendon. I've watched Sydney's games this year. They're really disappointing. They're the same Sydney you've always seen, Terry. They're just a little bit more free, a little bit more loose. But they haven't really been peppered this year. I think the worst game I've seen them play is against Pies and maybe Gold Coast. But people are saying they're rubbish. They beat GWS 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
so,
they're definitely not rubbish.
For me, it's the same what we always do. Got to make sure that you're good around the midfield. Really, really strong around the midfield. Got to make sure that we play to our one wood and we don't react too much to what they do.
Fair. I want to do this exercise with you that we did last week.
Oh, no.
Just for the round. I'm not doing the predictor for the season, just for the round. I just want to get a pulse check on what could be this round. Right? So this is how the ladder sits as we speak. Blues are sitting in 10th, 4 wins, 5 losses with a percentage of 110.
He's not going to stop doing this until he sees them Blues in the A. I love a man with a goal. I love a map with a goal.
I'm here to qualify. I'm here to qualify at the highest
Mate,
point
once
possible.
you're in it, you can win it.
Correct. It's a competition, man, and there's 15 games to go. So, like, one by one, we're just going to get our way there.
Mate, you ain't going to win the meat raffle if you don't buy a ticket.
That's right. So, pulse check on the 8. Did anything happen in round 9 that evolves your opinion on what's happening?
Not catastrophically. I think Brisbane will be better for this result, but they're still good. Pie's definitely, in my opinion, head and shoulders above the West, the most well-rounded. Hawthorn, I think there is cracks there with their injuries. Can they hold on when they get people back till they get people back? I think they'll eventually get exposed. Suns, even though they won, I thought the Dogs in Darwin did pretty well to get that back. And I think that game could have been won by them. So I still question Gold Coast when they play a side that can match their ferocity, and it's not in Darwin. Adelaide, very impressed with their extras. They're playing around the ball. Still think it's a year too early. Dogs keep impressing me. When you think Sam Darcy and stuff come back towards finals, I would not want to play a full fit Dogs. Geelong, I think they're a little bit Carlton. When they play teams that are quick, I think the gap's open. And GWS, I've been saying it all the time. Well done. They won this weekend. Whoop-de-doo. Everything went round. Massive frauds, though. Massive. Okay. They won't win it because defensively they're bobbins. So I think based on that 8, I wouldn't be shocked to see 2 teams fall out of it by the end.
All right. Play along. Let's tip the round.
Okay.
Let's tip the round. Or chat, you want to do 3 rounds? We can do 3 rounds if you like.
Hey, let's do it all. Look, we'll twin the fucking flag. How's that?
Why don't we do the next 3 games, which is going to be,
Okay.
2. We have 2 games until the bye. True?
Let's do it. Let's go to the bye.
To the bye. Gold Coast Hawthorn TIO Stadium Thursday night.
Everyone tells me that Gold Coast have never lost at the TIO Stadium.
Okay.
You know, big part of me does think Hawks win it because he keeps doing it. But we'll go with his story, Gold Coast.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got a sneaky feeling Sam Mitchell finds a way.
Okay.
But I don't care.
Blues, Swans, Friday night, SCG.
Fuck it, Blues.
Really?
I think the odds, in my heart of hearts, I think the odds are about right. 170, 220.
Who's favourite?
I can understand why Sydney are favourites.
Okay.
But I think we do it.
Okay. Collingwood, Adelaide at the MCG. Why do some teams have their
Doug Nicholls round, isn't it? They do the Doug Nicholls, and then it's the other round, isn't it? So it's up till now to the bye. They do the traditional names, don't they?
But why do some teams have their traditional names and some teams have their?
I can't remember. There was a reason last year, wasn't it? Because that they have got dispensation from the AFL to wear their Indigenous Guernseys early as well.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fair. Okay.
I can't remember. There was a reason.
Collingwood, Kawana at the MCG.
So the Crows, Pies. At the G. Adelaide's first test. As much as I love the Crows, Pies.
Okay. Yata Pulti, Port Adelaide, and Geelong at Adelaide Oval.
Cats.
Oof. Giants, Walialup, Freo at NG Stadium.
This is like a fraud off. The Fraud City Derby, we're calling this. right. Hey, who's the bigger fraud? Giants.
Western Bulldogs, Essendon, Marvel.
I know the media are starting to get hyped about Essendon, but Dog is a super smart, need taken serious.
Okay, Dogs. All right. So that's this round. Just saying. Oh, wait, no, I've missed one.
Oh, wait, there's more games in there.
Wow, more footy for everyone. Richmond North at the MCG.
I know the odds are in North's favour, but Richmond, like North Melbourne, couldn't finish a Yorkshire fucking pudding. Richmond. Honestly, North are cooked, bro. Like,
yeah,
as they get close to, they're scared of winning. Richmond are playing some nice football.
Richmond are not fearful. It's amazing.
Ken Corns today said Essendon are the next Hawks. I disagree. Richmond are the next Hawks. The way they play, they're playing as if they're a good side.
There's something in the air. Yeah, they've got some sort of attitude about them. It's impressive.
The most impressive win, I'd actually say the Eagles game was better than beating us because they were so far ahead and fucked it. And then there was this level of maturity from them of, what have we done? And they smashed the Eagles back. I was very impressed. And then Brisbane, 2,000% the Lions.
Okay. West Coast, St Kilda at Optus. Is this a danger game?
Nah, St Kilda by a lot.
Okay.
Eagles borderline pretend football team.
Okay. So that's round 10. Again, we're doing this for round 10 and 11 because 12 is the bye. Okay, so next round. Thursday night, Geelong Dogs, GMHBA. Classic matchup here.
This is a great game on Papier. This is the kind of game, though, the Cats grind out.
Okay.
This is where intelligence comes in. Bailey Smith, after his Ballarat, I think Dogs will play on emotion and it'll go against him.
True. Essendon, Richmond, Friday night. This would be dream time at the G.
Absolute ripping fixture, but I think the Bombers will be too good, too strong.
Okay. Wow. Then we've got the Giants at Marvel.
Imagine losing this after what I've said for 8 weeks about the Giants. Them pretend Giants fans will come out. I have to say, Carlton, just for fearful for my DMs.
Okay. Hawthorn, Brisbane at the MCG.
You know what? I might surprise people here. I think Brisbane dispel the myth. And I think Brisbane say, you know what? We can play.
Okay. North, Collingwood, Marvel.
Pies by pick a margin that's more than 10 goals.
They won't be making that same mistake as last year. We're nearly giving up a 40-point lead.
No, I think Pies are very, very, very mature this year. They're ominous.
Freo, Port at Optus.
Oh God, this is like a stink off, isn't it? Fremantle, because at this stage there'll be an article because they've lost 2 in a row.
Yeah,
JL, is it time to sack? And they'll be like, "Oh, you better start playing well for 2 weeks."
Okay. Crows, Eagles,
Adelaide, lots.
Adelaide. Okay. Melbourne, Sydney at the MCG.
We beat Sydney, didn't we, in this? Okay, on that proviso at the MCG. Oh, wait, Joel and Marty will be back by here. Sydney.
Yeah. St Kilda, Gold Coast at Marvel.
Euroke.
This is the Saints.
No, I'm just saying that's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
How that translates to St Kilda. Oh, wait, it's the traditional names, isn't it? Sorry. I'm stupid. I was like reading it as if it's a translation of St Kilda. Suns Marvel, Saints Marvel. This is the kind of game that the Saints win, baby.
Yeah.
Isn't it? This is I can see it now. Tuesday after this, Jake there going, "Hey, they said it was over after you beat us." Whereas Saints, look, 10th. And Jake, Garrett, here's another POM prediction. The Tuesday after this happens, Jake goes, wait, was Pommy one it who said GWS are frauds and we've only got to beat them to be in the 8. So you see, he'll start believing me at this stage. No, it'll happen.
All right. So that's what it could look like. Let's just play devil's advocate. We'll play devil's advocate. If we lose to the Swans...
My heart of hearts, I think we split GWS, Carlton, Sydney.
Same, if I'm being dead honest. Yeah, I agree.
But I was just trying to bring the vibes.
Yeah.
But I preferred it the way you had it when we were in the 8.
Look, that looks great. Let's just say for, devil's advocate
Okay,
sake.
so if we lose Sydney's game... Okay, so we're what? How far are we out the 8? 4 points?
1 game.
Okay. And who's the ones that who haven't played? It's Gold Coast. Who's the other team? Was it Brisbane who are a game? Who's the game? Oh, it's Essendon, isn't it? Essendon are a game in hand until round 23.
Yeah, that's right.
What happens if we lose 2 as well? What's the gap like then? Because obviously I know the fixture after this is a cakewalk. Yeah, after the GWS, is that if my memory serves me correct, it's Essendon, Eagles, North.
Essendon, Eagles, North.
Yeah, it's like 3 guaranteed wins. The draw's we've been kissed in the willy with this draw.
We have.
So that's why I'm angry, because we should be where Gold Coast are.
Yeah. Yeah. But also there's a lot to play out. There is a lot of football left.
Week to week, brother. Week to week. Do you know what I mean? Good thing is, though, right? Look, I would say in my heart of hearts, and I said this last night with Woody, the way I'm feeling when I look at the ladder, I would say we have 12 points. That's how sad I feel. So 12 points, that's what? 2 wins away from the 8. You're starting to say it's mathematically bad. It's game over, GG's. Because you wouldn't say Richmond or Melbourne will make the flag.
Right.
So that's how I feel in my heart of hearts. But in reality, with that drop game from Richmond, from being in the clusterfuck, that is 5th to 8th.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which then you have a different perspective of it, don't you? My only reservation, I don't want to be negative, is Brisbane and Pies are so much if I compare, that's what I'm looking at. I want to win the thing. At this stage, there's no way I would bet on us beating them. So I need to see that from now to then. Oh, mate, I'll fucking headbutt the tree. Mate, you were on the stream the other night, Matt. See that? Starting to get pod shots from GWS fans.
Yeah, man.
I didn't even know they existed, Terry. I've started to be attacked mercilessly by calling them frauds.
To be fair, that's the only team you've really gotten after, had a vendetta against.
Yeah, and I genuinely thought it would be a free hall pass, but who knew they had fans? Yeah, I was today old.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm more and more confident that there's a turn of pace coming from the Blues. I think we are grinding. And I think there's a strong second half of the season to come.
Mate, look, one thing this season has told us at the minute, and I think I said this with you when we were discussing it last year. I thought there was going to be a smaller gap from 14th to 1st than there was 14th to 18th. Yeah. And I think we're starting to see it. I think all the teams can beat everyone. I know Sydney have been bad, but you look at them and how they play, aside from 2 games, they have been in the game 90% of the time. Their first 4 games, they were Carlton. They just couldn't convert, but they were the better side in their first 4. So even as low as them, I feel like they can win. They could win games towards the end of the season, particularly when the players are back. So you've got to maximise it.
I think we could lose this week and still go on a great run.
I said last week to it, didn't I? We've got to win 11 of the games, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So you're
Yeah.
allowed, 4 losses? So now
4
it's
losses.
10-4. Now we got to
Yeah.
go 10-4.
10-4. And on a bender, we'll go
Yeah.
marching in September.
It's more like 10-4. 10-4. It's not mathematically hard.
No, just win. Just don't be shit.
And look, last week gives me a bit of hope. The reason is as I haven't seen fighting from us.
Yeah.
And that actually turned me on because as shit as we can be, when we're in that fighty mode, you believe, don't you? For some reason, when I see Adelaide, I went through second half Adelaide, third quarter, they started being really dirty and I felt unclean watching it. I was like, this isn't Adelaide. They're in trouble here. And then they got that sexy game going. When we do it, I feel comfortable because I'm like, this is us. This is what we're about.
When we find it in game.
Yeah, so that St Kilda, as ugly as it was, as much as I fucking hated watching it 3 times, worst thing I've ever seen, bar childbirth. It makes me feel safe because that's us. Like, I know if we play a pissing down rain 2025, we win. Like, we win that game. Yeah. Like, that's where we beat Collingwood and Brisbane. If the game is shit, game over. Thanks, boys.
Bray, it's really simple. Lads, don't be shit. Just don't be shit this week.
Bray, do you remember last year when I got really angry when we lost? And that was a quote of mine that someone had posted. Someone needs to tell Voss, just tell the players to stop being shit. And I was so pissed off because I was like, if only it was that easy, eh? Stop being a fuck up. Yeah. There's something though, isn't there? Like, I feel like, am I confident? 100% not. But
no,
I am enjoying winning. Like, they took all the drugs off me, Terry. I can't do it anymore.
I am enjoying the fact. I'm enjoying the fact that when we were 0-4, I genuinely feared that we would go 2-8. Genuinely. But it's a competition that runs for another 15 rounds. And there's plenty to go. And we're fighting our way through. We're grinding our way through. We're in the real grind phase right now. Starts to get real in about 6 weeks. So
look at Terry. And Terry being the positive one. I love it.
I found something. I did. I definitely found something. Can't wait to lose it next week, but I found something. I've also seen the fixture.
You know what? I need to go back. I can't even remember. You know when you do that much content, you can't remember what you said.
Yeah.
I remember doing a worst case scenario, like ladder predictor for Carlton.
Yeah.
Well, for the whole thing, I'm just trying to remember what my worst case was by round 10, because it was a real bad case as well. Like, every 50-50 game in that video, the vote was we lost it. That was my agreement.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to think, was it as bad as I thought it was?
It's not.
Oh, here we are. Right, where are we? Round 10?
We're around 10.
All right, let's get to round 10.
4 wins, 5 losses.
Hello, Pass Pom. Make me happy now.
Yeah.
Right, after 8 games, where did I have us? Right, where are we? Round 8. We're around 9 this week.
We just finished round 9.
Oh, that's bad. I had a 6-3 at this stage, worst case. Oh, wait, did I? I tipped Sydney by 20. Okay. Oh,
but you would have tipped Blues over Crows? No, you wouldn't have done.
What was that margin last week against St Kilda?
15 points.
Ooh, I had 14. Maybe old Pom. Maybe old Pom.
You got 6-3. You had us losing to Collingwood. You had us losing to Adelaide. You had us losing to Sydney.
I'll tell you.
So you had us beating the Hawks.
So we beat Richmond in my model.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah.
We lost to Hawthorn.
Oh, yeah.
We lost, obviously, because I'm not stupid. We beat Dogs. Yeah, that was the agreement in the chat. I had us beating Collingwood once, losing us in the next time. Because I think we'd split it.
Right.
So, yeah, cool.
Okay.
Hey, Adrian's spot on. I went back to Pass Pom to cheer him up. And Pass Pom's fucked future Pom. Cheers, Pass Pom.
Dear. Well, that's us for tonight. So, mate. Jake won't be watching this tonight, will he? No, he won't be.
Yeah,
these bad boys are coming out tomorrow night, bro.
Yeah. You know what I've enjoyed about him this last couple of days, Jay?
Yeah.
Is the copium.
Oh, have you seen I was sitting on level 3. I've got footage. It was Voss that slowed the game down.
My favourite thing at the minute is him now turning on his own fan base, which turns me on going, would you rather us win look, be honest. Do you care what brand of football we play, or do you just want to win games of football? Would you rather take the game on and lose by 50, or play to your strengths and give you a chance of winning most games? Most games.
So tomorrow night, ladies and gents, 7:30 p.m, the Footy Abroad show. It's myself, Pommy, Swoop Luke, and Jake from Saints TV. It's just must-view television, as far as I'm concerned.
As you can guess, I'm going to be really humble about winning that game. Super humble. Like, not going to rub it in a bit. I'm going to be a real honourable winner.
Yeah. Kate, he will be on the bottom. I reckon we'll do Swoop first, Pommy, myself, and Jake. Pommy, you can stand on top of. You can sit on top of him.
Oh, I can't wait! Like, genuine. You know what's going to annoy me as well? I've already predicted it, because we're going to be there with our sunglasses, drinking wine out of a tumbler, and he's going to be like, "This is what I meant last week," and he's going to be like, "Fuck off, Jake! If you'd won, that Caminiti soppy tie would come back, bro. Fuck off, you liar."
Oh, man. No, I look forward to it. So that's tomorrow. The preview for the game on Friday will also be out tomorrow. I'll get that done. Pommy, what have you got on this tomorrow? What do we need to expect from you?
What you got? We'll have the recap of the week. Once the VFL team's announced, you've got me twice on Friday for the game, but we're also doing a Pom Cotter watch along because the prodigal son will return. Preview. There's a video where I'm deep diving into the mid-season draft as well, about what picks are there. So loads of stuff there. And obviously I'll be on tomorrow night spending an hour and 30 minutes reenacting, retracting all the hard work Spuds Foundation has done to just be mean to Jake for an hour and 30 minutes. I'll be totally honest with you.
Very good. All right, guys, that's us. On your way out, hit the like button on the stream on YouTube. Oh, watch this. Hey.
That's scary. How's that happen?
StreamYard.
Is it not like? Is it prejudice to English people?
It's racist.
It's xenophobic. It's like I was born here, you flew here. Cheers.
It's StreamYard and it's woke nonsense. It's just
woke nonsense from StreamYard. Cheers, StreamYard.
All right, guys. Much love. Go Blues.